If you bring the whole table, then you can sit with us. We're bringing all the uncomfy combos and creating an unapologetic space to drive the culture forward respectfully. Because it seems like everyone wants to keep their opinions in the comment section. Absolutely not. What is up, world? It's your girl Alora with your favorite podcast, Absolutely Not, hosted by yours truly, a girl with unpopular opinions. Today on the show, we have my favorite guest, Jen C. Will. Thank you again. No problem. Love it here. I'm so excited to have you back. Thank you. I love being here and just being able to talk to you, even if we go over. So today on the show, since you are a product of interracial marriage and interracial dating, I kind of just want to get your thoughts on that.
I'm all for it. I think that God created humans, and I think that being able to mix cultures is a beautiful thing.
I definitely agree with you.
Yeah.
I feel like some of the most beautiful people are created that way.
I agree.
And not physically, I just mean like being cultured and having different experiences.
Yeah, because being multiracial or biracial, there's not like one set. You're having to get used to being and living in a different setting, whether that be the different families that you might have, and bringing families together. In my example, for my family, that's what happened. Or I know that I'm pretty much, I call it basic mixed. So I'm black and white. I know that there are other mixed people out there who have a little bit more of like a rarity in their mix. I think that seeing people who are mixed and identifying as mixed, but also coming from a non-stereotypical, household also is a thing, because I have friends who are black and Asian. They call themselves Blasian, right?
Yes.
And what you would think their household would be like is nothing like their household is. So getting out of that stereotype of how people are, it's really good to have friends who are mixed so that you can see that people can live together, build families together, fall in love with each other, and become grandparents if they want, and continue the generation. They say that by 2050, most Americans in some capacity is going to have something other than just that one race.
And I personally think that is when the world will be healed from racism, because people don't care until it directly affects them or someone that they care about. Once everyone's family becomes mixed, I think that's what's going to heal the world.
I think that colorism will play a part still.
Definitely.
I don't know if it's going to be the answer to racism. Because I thought about this a lot when I was a kid. When I was a kid, we were the only Black families in our neighborhood. We were also the only mixed family in our neighborhood. So everybody
Double
else
minority.
Definitely monogamous. What is it? I wouldn't say monogamous, but they were monoracial is the term. Yes. And to me, it wasn't what I see now. Now it's like there's so many mixed kids everywhere.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that when I was a kid. I was literally the only one. Me and my sisters in our house, in our, town of Grand Prairie, Texas. Grew up on the north side, and kids would make fun of my hair. They would.
By the way, y'all know I don't always do this, and I don't usually do this. But I'm sure that sis probably need the views just a little bit. But do y'all see this? It's a, matter of fact, hold on, wait a minute. Let me call these Tyrones out for a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, the first one, hold on. What was the first comment? I'm trying to find it. I think this was like the very first before any comment. It say how you date who you want, but don't belittle other groups in the process. What do y'all do? Belittle black men? Crazy. I'm all for interracial marriage. I was a 28-year-old. whatever that's supposed to be. I don't forgot how to say that word. My fiance is biracial. That was irrelevant what he did, but okay. Who cares? Can't a white guy date a black girl without being accused of fetishization? I just like black women. I find them more honest and direct and absolutely beautiful. Isn't that enough? 3 minutes and in this convo was dense racism healed. The statement that only 15 of black men are highly qualified is wild stuff. I don't know what that means, and I'm not telling y'all not to date or to find a highly qualified man. But I do wish black people who want to date people who aren't black could just say, I'm a human being attracted to other human beings without all this stuff about what's wrong with the black race. Well, black women would have that energy if Tyrone's had that energy, sir. You need to be asking your fellow Dusties that question, not black women. The young lady was correct in there, or I think he meant in there, or fewer black men. There were a study released years ago, I think in the New York Times, or maybe it was the Washington Post, about missing black men. According to the study, there were numerically, wow, 1.5, which is 15 million fewer black men when they included incarcerated men. But I black man for every 40 black women is so far off the mark as to be observed. Y'all need to stop disrespecting black men. Real talk. The SHIT is getting played out. Don't no other non-black woman belittle their men in their culture. Black women have never, ever, ever disrespected black men. If anything, it always have been worshiping and praising. Sir, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Where are you getting your information from? Where are you getting that from? But anyways, it's always interesting when I hear these type of conversations, how none of these ladies are concerned or discussing the challenges and conflicting identity crisis issues. Most interracial people struggle with someone making fun of hair. It's not what I call a challenge. They just seem to only care about the child simply just being mixed in other cultures. People need to deal with their own racial insecurities and inferiority complexes that having mixed kid can't and will not fix having mixed children and living through them. Like some kind of biological trophy won't fix the issues with yourself and people. Perhaps, but non-mixed people have these same issues because most of them have no identity either and are simply acting like they're been programmed to. These ladies are in for a shrewd awakening if they believe the stuff coming out their mouths when it comes to dating and marriage statistics of being desired and not just actually by non-black men. However, no one's stopping you from trying and shouldn't try. But remember, compatibility has to work both ways. So if he's not into you because he wants his children to reflect his race, don't be upset and say it's because of racism or stereotypes of black women. No, it's like you said, it's preference, which he is entitled to have. Sir, why is you so jealous? Why is you so jealous and why you so butthurt? Get a life. So y'all just saw me. Okay. Now it's a more to read. People will always hate each other's differences. Most black people are mixed with something and still find ways to separate themselves. Light skin versus dark skin, African versus African American, ghetto versus bougie, Crip versus blood. Is what humans do. That person didn't really say nothing. This the same person. You are doing the same thing you claim those black men in the comments are doing, sis. You want black women to explore outside their race, and they are doing the same. You think black men are not emotionally there and can't have intellectual combos, and they don't think black women can talk past each other but want the same things. I'm kind of confused. I don't know if she siding with black women about expanding your horizons or she caping for the Tyrones. I don't know. I'm confused.
Tell me, that's not your dad, that's not your mom. But now I do think that it's a lot more seen.
I agree, and it's something that's often portrayed in the media too. I do think that colorism has something to do with that. But one thing that I will say is that no matter the rarity of your mix or whether you're just plain old black and white, I've noticed that none of the mixed people that I know are the same.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you'll find some that are black and white that are extremely, like, they're like me. And then you'll find some that are a bit more European. And then in other mixed cultures, you'll see like the perfect blend of both cultures. And so I always think it's interesting to look into those sort of things.
I think that parents have a big say in how their student or their kids are going to be raised in getting to know that other side. We see that when we talk about Black women who have children who are multiracial or biracial, you're going to see that usually that child is still raised in Black culture compared to, like, for instance, my mom is a white woman, and she had to make a cognitive decision to raise us in Black culture because she didn't want us to be out into the world with who we are as Black women and not feel like a belonging in the Black culture, because she knew we were Black. She told us we were Black. But on the flip side, I do know that there are white mothers with children who are Black who don't see that and don't embrace that. And that, to me, is sad.
I definitely agree. So my next question to you, so with you being interracial and being a product of interracial marriage, would you consider dating outside of your race? And I'm not talking about Black or white, but anything outside of the norm.
I definitely do. I do so. I actually try to convince all of my girlfriends to try to date outside their race at least once in their life. A lot of my girlfriends are Black women who they just can't. They say, I literally can't do that. There's no way. I've dated Latin guys. I've literally dated all races. My mom taught me that all men are the same. That's something that I got from her, and that's because she also dated outside of her race. And my dad wasn't the first person that she had dated who was not white. So she had that experience, and I had to have that experience myself to see that she was probably right, that most men think alike. It doesn't matter what their race is. They have the same common cores, usually, and what they're looking for in a woman. I think religion pays more on how a man will proceed in a relationship than race. That's just been my experience.
I definitely agree with you on that, because religion, I think, is one of the great equalizers between all cultures. They kind of all have the same background and philosophy. So I can definitely see what you mean by that. One thing that I have noticed is that Black women do not date out of their race enough, and God, please release my sisters from the shackle of only dating Black men. I feel like it's time for us to explore our options. It's way more of life to see, way more experiences to have, and being binded to one race has kept us behind for so many years. And I feel like it's something that's actually outdated.
I understand the perspective of wanting to date Black men only. A lot of it is a commonality in how we're treated in society. I also think that if you don't have daddy issues and you're a Black woman, like, you see your father figure as somebody who was a great father, someone who was a great partner, and that was the ideal of who you, when you were a child, thought that you would be with. I think that not treating other human beings like humans and understanding that you can be attracted to another human who's a different race is the big issue that Black women need to ask themselves.
Yeah.
Because what else would it be? You can't say, oh, I'm not attracted to anyone but Black men, because we see the Black men you're attracted to.
Yeah, and they're not even cute.
No, a lot of times they're not. And to me, when I'm attracted to someone, it's usually their personality.
Same.
There have been men who look amazing who have horrible personalities or bland.
Don't have a personality, or you already said that, don't have a personality, but also don't really know how to carry a conversation.
Right.
And that is something that I'm noticing a lot with Black men. Like, they're starting to pick up certain pieces of the puzzle. So, like, now Black men are starting to become more educated. They're starting to be more financially stable and self-sufficient. But you can find a man that has all those characteristics, but he's lacking in personality or depth, or he doesn't even have these certain emotional intelligence that I'm looking for. And that's not just with Black men, that's with all men.
Right.
But one thing that kind of is triggering is the fact that Black women aren't open to dating other races. When we see day in and day out, like, look at my comment section alone, Black men don't love us. They don't respect us. They talk about how much they hate Black women. I mean, they don't actively come out and say that they hate Black women, but they talk about how loud and obnoxious we are and how angry we are. And then they want to chalk it up to preference as well, which is also something that bothers me, because to me, I personally don't feel that you can prefer another race over another. That doesn't make sense to me, but that's a topic for another day. My thing is, I don't mind you having a preference as long as you aren't belittling or putting down a different gender, people group, or race. So that is my issue with it. But I feel like Black women really need to stand up, take charge, and go where the energy is being reciprocated, because us dating Black men seems to be like us talking to a wall. We constantly put out in the media what we're looking for, the things that we want to attract, and we've done all the healing necessary to make this possible. We've healed our inner child, broken generational curses, and just worked on our own financial stability and just really love.
She didn't lie when she said that. Inner child, inner child. I said inner child. Inner child. Correction. And generational curses and all that, trauma period, generational trauma. Y'all get it.
Up. And Black men are doing the same, but at the same time, we're not equally yoked.
There's not enough Black men, is what it is.
That too.
Because they say, it was the State of Black America one year, stated that for every one Black man, there are 40 Black women.
Wow.
And due to the incarceration rate, we also have, there's a lot of other sources, but to have a man who is highly qualified, it's like 15% of Black population. And that, to me alone, the numbers,
that already makes it hard when dating as a Black woman, because we are all going after this 15%.
Right.
And I mean, like, they know that they're outnumbered. They know that they have all these options. And so then you end up in a situationship, which is another thing I want my sisters to be released from.
It's hard.
Dating,
It's so hard.
I don't understand why we as a Black people group sit in these long-ass talking stages or these situationships forever and never ever define the relationship.
It's not just Black people. I literally have dated Latin guys, and they're doing the same thing.
Interesting.
They're doing the same thing because they can. Because they can. Part of it is the numbers. The numbers talk, and the numbers are what Black women need to look at. If there are only this many men for all of us, because the majority of Black women are, 98% of us voted blue in 2016 and 2020. You also have, they were the most educated of all in America anyways. When we're only focusing on this small population of men, we're letting the opportunities that we could be happy with another person go to waste. And a lot of Black women are successful, but the ones who want to get married, because I don't want to get married, but the ones who do want to get married, they are finding themselves like in a pickle when they're older because that person never came.
And they say that, I might have the statistic wrong, but like 30% of Black women are unmarried, which, I mean, is a pretty high percentage compared to...
I think it's like 38, but it's high.
Compared to other races.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, if all it's going to take for us to find our person or to settle down and get the life that we want, I mean... that life, like, is not for me, for everyone. But for those who do want to get married, like, your prize or whatever it is you're looking for is right on the other side of you dating outside of your race, because I have also looked at statistics on Black and white families and households, and it shows that Black women married to white men have a higher success rate over Black men being married to white women as far as marriage.
Yes. And part of it is a lot of Black men are misogynistic. And there's just that. You do have the conflicts. One thing that my dad told me, so even though I'm part, of an interracial marriage from my parents' relationship, my dad did tell me to be careful about dating white men because he did not want me to go through what he went through when he was pursuing my mom. He actually he would hate that for me to come into a family that judges me, one, because I'm Black, but also to make an exception for me because I'm half white. Yeah. Those two scenarios are very likely and has happened to me even dating Latin guys. I've dated a Latin guy specifically. I had a lot of racial trauma with him, mainly because I felt like he and I were attracted to each other. But I think a lot of where his attraction to me came from, me being half white.
Interesting. And honestly, I don't...
Black men do the same thing?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of Black women's biggest fears is, like, dating white men but being fetishized rather than actually being loved for who we are. So I think that might be one of the biggest issues. But I made a TikTok about this, and all of the girls in my comments, I just said interracial dating, but all of the girls in my comments assumed that I just meant white, and I'm like, girls, there are other races out here.
Yeah.
There are so many different people out here.
Rihanna was dating the prince. I was like, yes, let's do this.
Yeah.
Because it put more light on women who are Black dating Middle Eastern men, which I'm all for. That's like...
Middle Eastern men are hot.
Okay. It's like my main. But
Yeah.
where are they? Where are they?
Girl,
They're all
hard
in
to
Houston.
find,
They're
yeah.
all in Houston. All in Houston.
Probably find them at a hookah lounge.
Yeah, exactly. They're either owning the hookah lounge or their presence
At the hookah lounge, yeah.
Houston has so many hookah lounges.
I think that's what Houston is pretty much known for now. Everybody has to have a good meal, some crab legs and some hookah.
When they come to Dallas, I have friends who are from Houston, and when they come to Dallas, they're like, where's the hookah? And I'm like, you're going to have to drive to Richardson to get the good hookah.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just do that here. You can go to somebody's house, you know.
I used to be into hookah, like, before I could drink. When I turned 18, I was just like, oh, yeah, hookah bars. I was
Tobacco.
so excited. Yeah, no.
I'm tobacco free.
Girl, same. After I figured out it was actual tobacco I was smoking, and it's worse than a pack of cigarettes.
It is.
Cold turkey. I mean,
It
I was
feels
never
worse,
addicted,
though.
but it makes my head hurt.
They do have some okay, we can keep talking about hookah because they have some non-tobacco hookahs, but those are
CBD
special.
hookah?
Yeah.
I'm still scared to smoke that.
I want to be scared.
Girl, you're putting fire in your lungs. I'm a singer.
But yeah, so pretty much being able to have just an open mind. I mean, my parents taught me explicitly, love is love. So as long as you love that person, I could have brought home a woman. My parents would have opened arms, accepted that person, because love is love, and that's really what it comes down to for me.
Yeah.
On the flip side, I've dated men who, for some reason, I'm gonna say this, for some reason, after a man dates me, it's always a Latina girl that comes after me. So I'm like, was I like your segue?
Yeah.
You know, to Latino women. So that's like the only thing as a Black woman that I feel about that. And I know that Black men will say, oh, well, we can't date you because, Black women are angry, like you said, or we don't date Black women because the white girls do this and the Latin girls do this. And, like, I feel that, too. But I didn't feel that till I was an adult.
Yeah.
My whole life has been me dating anyone who I have been attracted to, But what I will say also is Black men are not used to a Black woman dating someone outside their race. So I've had issues with exes who find out that I have an ex who's white or who's Latin, and they have a hard time with it. Like, they don't know how to handle it very well.
And my thing is, what is the difference? I see this topic talked about all the time on TikTok. Like, when Rihanna posted her video with the Prince, there was so much backlash coming from Black men, and I did not understand that because Black men date white women all the time, or date out of their race all the time.
Okay, so actually, right now, the leading interracial relationships are Black men and
Latin women. Yeah. I've seen that, and that, I mean, has always been a trend, but I started noticing it a little bit more when I got into high school, because all of the Black guys that were known for dating white girls, like in elementary school or in middle school, they segued into Hispanic girls shortly after that. So I feel like,
I see that.
I don't know. Black men, I'm gonna pray for them, because
everyone just needs to open their minds a little bit more. And Black women, for sure, need to, even if you're like, oh, I'm just so attracted to Black men, I can't do that. Find something attractive in a white man. Find something attractive in a Latin guy, because there's some handsome ones. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
Yeah, there are tons of handsome ones. I initially struggled with that too, and it wasn't something I had to open my mind to. I just ended up seeing a white guy that I thought was cute. But I mean, I watched several movies growing up where, I mean, there was interracial dating, so I think I was like more desensitized, and I saw people dating outside of their races when I was in school, because I went to predominantly white schools, so the Black students that did go there dated outside of their race. Now, as for me, it was a little different, because like the Connors and the Dylans didn't like me.
But see, if we were in a different state, like if your state was a little bit more, I don't know, liberal, like California, you would have no problems. That's how it is. Texas is where we're at. Going to different cities even. You have a different population. When I was like in high school, I heard that the Asian men in Chicago love Black girls.
I heard that.
You've heard that too?
Yes.
I don't know where they're at, because I've been to Chicago, and I'm like, I see more Asian men who are, I'd say, into me in California than I have in Texas or Chicago.
Interesting.
Had a little pen pal before the pandemic.
Not a pen pal.
Yeah.
That is
I
interesting.
met him in San Francisco. Yeah.
Did you ever go back to visit him?
No, the pandemic happened. We kept in touch, but like sent each other music. But
Aw, Jen, that's cute.
yeah, it's cute. It's a pen pal.
Well, thank you so much for joining the show today.
No problem.
I'm glad that we were able to have this discussion.
Me too.
And hopefully you'll come back.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for tuning